Hello and thank you for joining us on the midweek edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Uzubaku. Today on the program, Nigerian Army repels daring Boko Haram attack on 333 artillery brigades. Maiduguri suffers another big ambush on Damboa Road. More Nigerians condemn IG's decision to close police tactical units, RT and STS. Offices nationwide. And later on the show, JH Midweek Special is on the agony of private school teachers during the lockdown. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, while Wale Adeoye and Sam Ibemere will be joining us via Skype. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. On a rather sad note, let's begin by paying tributes to a departed hero. A short but impactful life is how Nigerians describe the life and time of Nigeria's first female combat helicopter pilot, Tolulope Arotile. The 23-year-old flying officer died from head injuries she sustained in an auto crash at the Nigerian Air Force Base, Kaduna. The Nigerian Air Force described her death as unfortunate. Here is a tribute for the late Tolulope.
This is why we came here. Come out now.
Last but not the least is Flying Officer K.O. Sani.
I was admitted into the Nigerian Defense Academy on the 22nd of September 2012 and was commissioned into the Nigerian Air Force on the 16th of September 2017. I joined the military simply out of passion for it. Being a military personnel has been a long-term ambition. The courage and what they stand for is simply exceptional.
Babajide, this is unfortunate. A graduate of Nigerian Defense Academy, and I know it's a rare thing to find, ladies being encouraged now to go into NDA, and they even specialize. And she specialized in, Air Force and how to fly, combat flights.
It's really painful that she died in the way she died. I think for most soldiers, most military men and women, they would prefer to die in combat than to die through a freak accident, because here was a woman who saw some of her old schoolmates heading to the Mami market. And then one of them decided to stop to pick her. So while reversing, the vehicle hit her and her head struck the ground. And she suffered a massive hemorrhage as a result of that. Is a Nigerian talent that we've lost. She's the first ever combat pilot who is a woman from our country. And I can say that the people of Kogi State and the Chief of Air Staff and every Nigerian will miss her. And she rose from the very beginning as an air person. She went to Air Force Primary School, went to Air Force Secondary School, and then went into the NDA to specialize as an air person. And she's the daughter of a retired Air Force man.
She was just
So
created for this.
Yes, she said it that it was her choice to be a combat pilot.
At 23.
She wanted to
That
be a
shows
combat
the level
pilot.
of brilliance to have qualified for that.
Yes, there were two of them, herself and Kafaya Sani. Kafaya Sani was trained in the U.S. Air Force Training School, and this one was trained in South Africa. Both of them, Kafaya Sani flies the combat airplanes, you know, like the F-7s and the rest of them that we have. So this one specializes in flying the combat helicopters, and she has been involved in operations against bandits in the Northwest. She has done very well, performed excellently
This
in operations
short period.
against them. Yes,
Within this short
everyone
period.
likes her because beyond even flying, she's also good in her administrative work and all that. So it's a massive loss. Last night I was just wondering that
23,
why
23.
should a young woman
23.
like this die at the peak of her powers,
not gotten
at the point when Nigeria needs her the most? It's painful. It's really, really
Young,
painful.
beautiful girl, and I just pray that God will grant the parents the fortitude to
Yes.
bear the loss. And Nigerian Air Force is a monumental loss.
Yes, I
After
see
you've
her.
spent money training.
I
somebody.
remember when I was talking about Air Marshal Sadiq as the best that we've had. I spoke about these two women, that they are products of the era of the current chief of air staff, because she's done a lot to improve capacity, and this woman happens to be one of the works of his hands. Because before now we never had anything like this. And for Sadiq to see this person die must be really tragic to the chief of air staff.
I'm telling you. Sam Ibimere is joining us. Sam, what do you make of this unfortunate death?
This is very, very unfortunate. What more can I add? It's condolences to the family and condolences to Nigeria. This is a huge loss to our country. A talent, that has been, cut down in her prime. We can only, pray for, peaceful repose, of somebody I would like to describe as a patriot, really. It's not very often that you find women take on, assignments of the sort that this young lady subjected herself to. So condolences to our family, condolences to Nigeria. It's a huge loss. It's a huge loss. We pray God to grant us peaceful repose.
Moving on now. Boko Haram insurgents, emboldened by several attacks on military and civilian targets in recent times attempted to infiltrate and take control of the 3-3 Artillery Brigade of the Nigerian Army in Maiduguri. Nigerian troops repelled the attack but suffered another big ambush on Maiduguri-Damboa Road with some soldiers killed. Babaji, what is the meaning of them attempting to take over the 3 Artillery Brigade?
It's the madness by Boko Haram is getting to worrying heights. I think that what Nigerians describe as sea finish is what we are experiencing now.
The boldness.
Because this place that they went to is more or less in Maiduguri metropolis. This is the airport area. This is where you have the Air Force headquarters. It's this area.
That's so emboldened.
Yes. You now want to come into the city. And I've always described Maiduguri as the most fortified city in Nigeria. Well, these guys simply don't even want to stay on the outskirts. They've been attacking people on Maiduguri, Damaturu Highway, especially around Jakana, Minok, all of those areas. Well, they are now trying to come into the city. What's the meaning of this? A lot of my friends could not sleep on Monday.
What infantry?
They came, I think the attack started around 11:30, 11:36 and went on to the next day because, it was already late. We were getting closer and closer to a new day. And there were explosions, for much of the night. They couldn't sleep. For a long time, they had not been frightened like that. Now, these guys bringing the battle to the seat of power. That's what they are trying to do. This is the area where you have the State Polytechnic, this place that they went to, and then the 1,000 housing estate. So it's the outskirts of the town. But you know that usually even airports are located on the outskirts of the town. So they've tried different points that lead into Maiduguri. They've been coming and attacking some of those areas, like Baga Road on the outskirts of Maiduguri. They've come to that area to attack. They've come to places like Jidaripolo, which is also on the outskirts of Maiduguri, But they've always been pushed back. By attacking so late in the night, it means that they wanted to catch the military by surprise and then loot their weapons. Because they don't just attack military formations. They want to loot your weapons. The ones they can't take away, they want to destroy. Like when they attacked the Air Force barracks, remember they set all the aircraft that they found on ground ablaze. And when they attacked Giwa barracks too, it was the same thing that they did. The weapons that they can't steal, they will set ablaze. So I really do not understand their mission. But one thing is evident. The enemy has become stronger. And you will see from daring attacks and the fatalities that we are suffering that the enemy has become stronger. The enemy that can go to Monguno, a well-defended city, and be killing people, attacking soldiers, is not an enemy to play with. An enemy that can launch back-to-back ambushes on our troops and kill so many people is not an enemy that we can underrate. So we have to realize, admit that this is a war that is far from being over, because it was in 2014 that I saw this kind of thing that they tried to do the midnight of Monday. It was 2014 that I heard about it last. Now trying to come into Maiduguri. People are telling me now that what it means is that they have cells around the state capital. And if we do not move in, destroy those cells wherever they are, destroy their camps wherever they are. One day, they might enter into the city, and it probably will be too late. They will have killed so many innocent civilians before we'll be able to launch a fight back. But thankfully, the birds went into the sky, and we were able to repel this attack with the active support of the Air Force.
Sam, what do you make of this audacious attack on another military formation?
I think two things are evident from the latest reports. One, it's either that the enemy is getting stronger or that our military is no longer in a very strong position, to execute this war the way Nigerians would like them to deal with it. I hate to believe that the second case is what is happening. I don't want to believe that our military has become so very weakened that all we do is sit back and let the enemy come at us. I don't want to believe that. It's really very unfortunate. And the last time, one had the privilege of appearing on this program, I did say that this has become like a sing-song. You wake up each day to the fact that our military positions are being attacked. You hardly hear that our military is taking new territories. But here we are, the terrorists coming at us. It takes much more than a ragtag, organization, to want to take or overrun a military formation. So one thing that is clear here is that the enemy is not as weak as we think. They seem to be getting better. And I want to agree with what Jide said earlier, that we'll probably have, cells all over the place. And that could explain why, almost every day or every other passing day, you get to hear about attacks on our situation. I mean, on our formations. So I think it's a bigger challenge for our military. We must find a way to respond to this. And very quickly, too, lives are being lost every day. You can't do business in an environment where there's massive insecurity. What that means that each time that people become too very scared about how to survive, they can't go about their regular businesses, poverty is increased, and all that. This is a huge challenge. And again, like I will always argue, the buck stops on the president's table. The military chiefs have been there for a very long time. There's been a lot of clamor that if the strategy is not working, we should rethink it. Or if the personnel, who are currently driving our military mission are not up to it. The president should be bold, should be courageous enough to take very tough decisions. I don't want to believe that we don't have enough talents in this country that can help us prosecute a war and win it. I also don't want to believe that we don't have the right equipment in place. I think morale is low. Every day you wake up and you hear that a certain number of soldiers are resigning from the military, and you wonder what is happening. All over the place, viral videos of very young men, complaining about situations at the war front. Just today, I read about, and I hope that report is not correct, that a very senior army official who complained about, insufficient equipment to fight the war or to prosecute the war. He's been personally done for investigation. That is very worrying. That is very disturbing. It simply means that it's that we are not taking this war serious, or we are pretending to be fighting a war or to be executing a war. I think that the president, on whose table this buck stops, should do the very right thing. It's going to be very painful. What makes a great leader is the capacity to take very painful decisions and stand by them. Every Nigerian who is complaining about this can be wrong.
Okay, Sam.
I think that these guys have stayed long enough there. The president should consider a change.
All right, Sam. Now we are in a very, very tight situation. And when it comes to manpower, when it even comes to equipment, this is not, you can't say you have all the money in this world right now to purchase equipment. Even if you have the money, now it takes time. Even our Apache helicopter, is it Apache helicopter that we're expecting? Tucano, Super Tucano. But we've done that in the last 4 years now. I think we're expecting it maybe 2020.
We'll get it this year. In fact, what the first batch was supposed to come in July. But I don't know whether the pandemic has had an impact
on the manufacturers.
Yes. The first set was supposed to come in July. So, and
what I'm trying to establish is that it takes time.
Yes, a minimum of 4 years.
This equipment.
Minimum of 4 years.
So we're in a very
easy.
Frustrating situation.
It's not easy at all. It's not easy. And the former U.S. government refused to assist us in any way.
That
Obama,
the black man.
you know, yes, the black man who was
that's
reluctant to help
to
African
help
countries.
Africa.
He refused to assist.
They never visited Nigeria once.
Remember, we wanted to buy the Chinook helicopters. The Chinook helicopters can serve the function of troops in action and can even serve as a combat helicopter. It can also serve as a kind of ambulance, air ambulance. They refused to sell to us. And we wanted to buy through a third party. They also went ahead to frustrate it, citing the so-called Leahy Law. The Leahy Law has always been there. But Donald Trump, who many Nigerians hate, refused to look at Leahy Law. The moment he got into office, he invited our president and said, I'm going to assist you to defeat terrorism. The weapons that you need, I'm going to supply you. And the late U.S. Senator McCain was among those who lobbied his colleagues in the Senate that, look, it's time to help Nigeria. Let's forget what happened during Obama. It's time to help Nigeria. We can't watch Boko Haram killing Nigerians in the manner that they are doing. And they have assisted us. Because if we get the equipment that we want, with the training of the pilots and all that, it will make a massive difference. Because that Tucano has been used in Afghanistan to great effect. The Malians too have bought it. So it's
Mali here.
Yes. In fact, our chief of air staff wanted to convince them to sell that of Mali to us. The Americans said, no, we don't do that. Because I met the chief of air staff and I was saying, why didn't you beg them to give you what was meant for Mali? He said, he tried it, but he said, no, we don't do that. Because you can imagine, we need it.
We're a small country.
Yeah, we need it. But we are going to get it in the end, and it's going to be really, really useful. The more equipment at your disposal, the greater your capacity to defeat the enemy. So we need this equipment. And because we are stretched, you can see with what's going on in the Northwest, banditry and all that. I was reading somewhere where they were saying, look, that in Katsina, the killings by bandits has created 500 widows and 1,600 orphans. You know, one wife can actually have up to 6 or 7 children. So it's so bad the way they are killing our people in Dusima, in Faskari, and Basari especially. All of those places. And not forget, even Zamfara, they've not stopped. Despite the fact that the government is patronizing them, they are still killing people.
Some other things.
They are still killing people in Zamfara. They are still killing people in Sokoto, in places like Sabombrini, in Tureta, Isa. All of those places, they are still killing people. So we have a lot of work to do. And the greater our capacity, the greater the access to game-changing weapons, the greater our chances of defeating these undesirable elements.
All right. More Nigerians have continued to wail over the decision of the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, to shut down IRT and STS offices across the country. Most Nigerians spoken to stressed that achievements of the tactical forces in combating criminal activities in Nigeria, with the help of their sophisticated equipment, will be swept away. They say there's no need to change a winning team. We started this series yesterday, and today I'm sure, hopefully, we are going to have the police spokesperson, Frank Umba, join us. Yesterday was the first part, and we have to give them a right of reply so that we know what is going on the side of the police management team. Let me bring you into Sam. What do you make of this move by the Inspector General of Police?
You know, what happened yesterday or thereabouts, it left me with the impression that oftentimes, what guides our actions, or what defines our action most of the time, appears to be policy somersault. If you want to term that, if you want to term what has happened, as such, it's really very unfortunate that the Inspector General of Police, would want to tamper with a process, that has given the police, a very positive image in very recent times. A lot has been achieved by, the RRT team and the STS team. And then you wonder why the sudden change, in approach or tactics, if you like. So I'm just as bewildered as many other Nigerians, who think that the RRT team that has achieved so much, in very recent times is being considered for what you might want to term, some kind of disbandment, if you like. I don't want to believe that is what
Thank you,
the
Sam.
Inspector General of Police is.
Thank you for that submission, Sam. We'll join Wale Adeoye too now. Wale, I want to get your reaction to the shutdown order given by the Inspector General of Police on the IRT and STC offices across the country.
Well, I think there have been complaints against the force, by several Nigerians. But if you weigh their achievements against the odds, I think most Nigerians would prefer that we should retain those arms of the police. I don't think it is right to throw away the baby with the bathwater. I was thinking that the police would have thought of reform instead of outright disbandment, of the two arms. Because if you disband them, what are you going to replace? What is going to be the replacement? Though we must also admit that all these strategies are cosmetic. The fundamental problem facing the police, one of them is over-concentration of power, of authority. So until we decentralize the police force and allow communities to play a leading role in driving the processes that affect their own security, then we'll be having policy somatos year after year.
Okay.
If you disband these outfits, what next? So I think the police authorities themselves seems to be a bit confused, because you set up an organization, then after 2 years disband again, and then you come up with another organization. So I think they have to address the fundamental problem, which is to decentralize this police force and let us have a police force that reflects true federalism, as we have in other federal countries all over the world.
Okay, I think we just connect with the first PRO, Frank Oba. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, and good evening.
Good evening, my friend.
Now, we want you to set the record straight. What has the police management, the shutdown of IRT and STS offices across the country by the Inspector General of Police?
Okay, first of all, let me thank you for the privilege of being on this program. Hanging out with the journalists is actually a rare privilege. Having said that, let me quickly address the issue. I think the outcry and the criticisms that have trailed the actions of the Inspector General of Police and his management team originate largely from lack of understanding of what the Inspector General of Police is doing. And I'll try to put it in proper perspective. What is going on within the Intelligence Response Team, IRT, and the Special Tactical Squad, STS, is purely a reform and reorganization aimed at engineering a new sense of efficiency and effectiveness within the two specialized units. You will also agree with me, like the last caller said, that there have been a lot of criticisms against the STS and the IRT. And what the IGP is trying to do is to strike a balance between achieving operational successes and also enthroning a respect for rule of law, respect for the rights of the human rights of Nigerians, and also the deployment of resources in areas where they are needed most. IRT is not being closed down. STS is not being closed down. As a matter of fact, we will be establishing more of these units, more of their offices in some states that are located within the northwest, the northeast,
okay,
and the
Mr. Mba, let me allow you to just
from those states where they are
Deputy Commissioner Mba,
not so much needed for now.
let me just hold you there. I need to pay some bills. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's your award-winning program, Journalists Hangouts, and we have Deputy Commissioner of Police, that's Mr. Frank Uba, the first PRO, still with us to explain the rationale behind the shutdown of IRT and STS offices across the country. Mr. Uba.
Thank you. But again,
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, go on, please.
Okay. I think, again, I want to also respectfully suggest that we change the narrative from rationale behind the shutdown of SES and IRT to rationale behind the reforms and reorganization in STS and IRT, because actually that is what is happening. There's no shutdown, and we need to make that very clear so Nigerians will understand that what is happening is a reorganization, a purpose-driven reforms taking place within the IRT and STS. And like I was saying before you went on break, the way the STS and IRT are currently established all across the country make them to be thinly spread out across the country. That approach is untactical, it is unwieldy, it is unsustainable. That particular approach breeds inefficiency. It gives room for misconduct of men. It gives room for corruption to thrive. It creates wastages, and it provides ground for inadequate supervision of the men. And these are the mischiefs we are trying to address and remedy. And so what we are doing is reorganizing the IRC and SCS to have a very compact, a very fluid, a unit that can respond very quickly and well equipped and well motivated, a unit that will be purposeful, intelligent driven, and target oriented.
Mr. Amba, are you saying that there have been allegation and accusation of misconduct against the IRT and STS?
Not just that there are allegations of misconduct against them, we have equally investigated some of those allegations, and some of them are clearly established.
Okay. Go on.
We have investigated some of those allegations, and they are clearly established. I mean, that is part of human nature. Yeah. And the Inspector General of Police, IGP Mohammed Abakadamu, will not sit back idly without taking concrete steps to readdress that. If we don't do that, we will get a situation tomorrow and you see Nigerians carrying flags to say end SARS. I mean, end IRT or end STS. We don't want to get to that. We're being proactive, and we are taking the bulls by the horn and carrying out an in-house cleaning and repositioning of these two units, which are very, very important and very dear to us. When I hear some people criticize the actions of the IG and remind the Inspector General of Police of the achievements of these two units, I smile, because the IG understands the relevance, the importance, and the tactical importance of these two units. And I say very respectfully that nobody can be more Catholic than the Pope. The Pope is the embodiment of Catholicism.
Is this in any way targeted at Abba Kyari?
And we will work with all Nigerians, including those of you in the studio, to make sure that IRT and STS remain the envy of everybody.
Thank you very much, Deputy Inspector General of Police, Deputy Commissioner of Police, First PRO, Frank Uba, always standing up to the occasion, and you can't just catch him napping.
No,
Babajide, it is salient that from what I can take from what his answers now is that there are some established cases of, you know,
no doubt
infractions.
about it. No doubt about it.
That
They are
is why-
policemen.
That is why the Inspector General of Police want to rearrange his house, in which he has power.
Yes, he
to
has
do
the
so.
power. There are what you can do if there are infractions, if you get reports, is to identify bad eggs and show them the door. They are policemen, so it's not a surprise that there is misconduct here and there, reports of misconduct here and there. You know, so that's not new. But to say that because of that you are shorting, because I saw the police signal, but some of what I'm hearing now contradicts the signal. Now, he's saying that it's not as if they are shorting
That they're
those officers.
establishing
They
more
are in
and
fact
then
going to establish more.
strengthening. Yes.
But the signal says that those officers should be shot. And in fact, the police commissioners were told to ensure that the officers are shot. So maybe they've tinkered with the idea they had initially, but
Maybe they saw the reactions.
I don't know. I don't know. But as I said, this thing, I know that this thing, largely, the Inspector General of Police is a man with a good heart, no doubt about it. But I can't say that of a lot of the members of his management team. I can't say that. No matter what, the IG may not want to take that action, but if the
management team is
if they are saying,
cabinet.
do it, at the end of the day, he will feel like this is the right thing to do. At the end of the day, what does the IG want to do? You want to bring those units under DIG Lamrude. Lamrude has never been an operations person. Yes, intelligence, financial crimes and all that. That's his area of strength.
Special fraud units.
Yes, that's
EFCC.
in financial crimes.
Forensic audit.
He has not been an operations person. So you have to be careful what you do, because the work of the RRT and these guys is about 60% operation and maybe 35 to 40% intelligence. You have to go. Sometimes they risk their lives. They go into the bush.
They go there. No,
exchange gunfire with these guys.
That's what about.
There was a time they went to Kaduna. They wanted to catch some kidnappers. They lost 4 of their men. So you have to also put them under a person with proven capability. Proven capability. Otherwise, you will not even achieve your aim.
Okay, let me go to Sam now. Sam, Mr. Amba says you cannot be more Catholic than the Pope, that the Inspector General of Police is the embodiment of Nigerian police.
I feel the pains of Mr. Amba. He has a job to do, and I want to give it to him. Yes, I want to give it to him. He has excelled, and he's not somebody you can fault easily when it comes to managing the reputation of the Nigerian police force. But having said that, I'd like to take us back a bit when he talked about tactical issues. But I also want to remind him that strategy is very important here. Tactics is a very short-term response, but we are thinking strategy. You don't want to initiate a program or a project, and then you drop it after 3 months, 6 months, and then you start considering something else. We are concerned about long-term plans that can reposition the Nigerian police to efficiently deliver on its primary assignment of protecting lives and citizens.
Okay, let me quickly go to Wale Adeoye there. Wale.
Yeah.
What do you make of the response of police spokesman?
Yeah, I think is the same old argument, that we want to, resolve a particular problem using the same old method. What he has put forward is enough to disband the force. You can talk of reform, you can talk of dealing with some bad eggs there, but outright disbandment, I don't think that is the solution. So because he has talked about complaints against the RRT, there are also complaints against the regular police force. There are complaints against the military. There are complaints against customs. So the solution is not just that because there are complaints, then you just disband the outfit. So I think the police should, because these are Nigerians, they are human beings. If you bring other people there, you are still going to have the same problem.
Okay, Babajide, I think we'll be on this story.
Yeah,
we want to see the reforms. We want to see
if
the
you are
outcome.
closing offices, you are closing offices here, and you are thinking of opening new offices. That's contradictory.
Why closing this one?
Yes,
to open another one.
Because
there's something
the
wrong.
people in those offices have been told to show up in Abuja. Some of them have traveled. They have traveled. They've gone to Abuja for a meeting tomorrow.
And they're trained on meeting tomorrow.
Yes. So if you are closing here, and I'm being told now that there are plans to open new offices in the Northwest and all that, I don't get it.
Okay.
I don't get it because it's against what I saw in that signal. It's against what I saw. But we'll be happy if we get better clarification.
Yes, it's also come
on
and
some of these issues.
Clear it out. Now, today's episode on Journalist Hangouts, that's our midweek special, is on the agony of private school teachers during this COVID-19 lockdown. The teachers are lamenting the closure of school as a result of the pandemic has hindered any form of revenue for them since March. In this report, Abiola Sholanke x-rays the challenges of facing the teachers, school owners, and the way out.
The uncertainty over dates for school resumption in Nigeria has inflicted pain on teachers in private schools across the country. It is believed that many professionals are making waves around the world today due to their tireless efforts. Almost 40% of all schools in Nigeria are privately owned. Although these schools reap good income to some extent and have good reputation, some of them suffer from financial, administrative, and technical problems. Teachers pointed out that they have to battle with loads of pressing financial needs. Some also say although they are currently providing online lessons for their pupils, they only receive paltry sum of money as allowances. They decry the insensitivity of the federal and state governments to the plight of teachers with schools remaining shut. The president of the National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools, Yomi Otubela, appealed to the federal government to consider reopening of schools for the junior and secondary school examinations. About a week ago, the federal government mentioned that the graduating students will be allowed back to school to write the examinations, most especially SSCE and JSCE. But the government made a U-turn and said no Nigerian school would participate in the scheduled examinations. The government says it is unsafe for students to resume when the pandemic is yet to abate.
To halt federal government's withdrawal from federal West African school certificate examination and other common entrance examination, and to provide enabling environment for students to write the examinations in accordance with SCDC guidelines.
I met with the school principal in Lagos who says they have put some safety measures in place for their students.
I was highly disappointed because we had come into the school trying to fumigate, put things on ground, get the necessary things that we were meant to get, and all of a sudden it was cancelled. For example, the SS3 we have, they're just 16. So we can even divide them into 3 classes. And we've actually done that, 2 meters apart. The washing hand basin is there, the sanitizers, the soaps, they are there, the disinfectants. We're all ready, we won't have the isolation room upstairs.
She explains that no reopening schools will alter the academic calendar.
It will get to a stage where diminishing returns sets in. You understand what I'm trying to say? You've been reading for particular exams, the exams are not forthcoming, and you let go. And when the exams actually come, the outcome of the exams, the results, will be nothing to write home about.
The coronavirus spreads quickly in large gatherings of people, and this is why places of worship, schools, markets, and others have been shut. Many have lost their jobs due to this, with government and private business owners forced to follow safety protocols in order to curtail the spread of the virus. For those working with government, payment of salary is not an issue. But most private establishments in Nigeria have not been able to pay their workers for the period of the lockdown.
For the past 4 months, the schools are locked down. No school fees coming from the parents. The school cannot be able to pay their staffs since the source of income is school fees and it is no longer coming. As such, the parents cannot pay and the school cannot be able to pay the staff.
To cushion the effect of the hardship caused by the lockdown, governments at all levels distributed palliative to different categories of persons. Concerned Nigerians are now making a case for teachers in private schools. They want the federal government to intervene and mitigate their financial challenges.
The problem of private school teachers is a national problem. And because they are obviously Nigerians, and the services they are rendering them for Nigerians. Meanwhile, they are complementing what government is doing. And to an extent, they are doing what government cannot do. It is therefore very important for government to pay attention to them and offer some assistance to them.
They know that the private reopening of economy is not because it is entirely safe to do so, but to guard against the collapse of the economy. In northern Nigeria, the story remains the same. Here, things have not been easy at all. Most teachers have not been paid because schools remain shut. And they are not blaming school owners since they have not been rendering service as well. But they have bills to pay.
What can we say? It's not been easy. Like, I have colleagues that are private school teachers, their husbands too are private school teachers too, somewhere else, and not getting paid for months. And you can imagine they have kids to feed, they have bills to pay, their rents are expired and all that, and their landlords won't understand.
As a teacher, you are used to being with your children and pupils in the school, but now you are staying at home. It's not easy.
Good afternoon.
Parents say having their children at home has been interesting, but would have loved them back at school. They are conscious of the surge in cases of COVID-19 in the country and would rather have their children at home till things get better.
The numbers are not going down and you want to release children to school and look at their ages. It's not as if they can take care of themselves or something. For now, being at home is safer.
Julie Ojo is a school owner. She says she has identified with her workers during the lockdown period, but adds that it has not been easy.
Getting money to pay salaries in this time, because it's not hard. It hasn't been easy. The first 2 months this happened, my husband had to, source for money. We sourced for money we paid April full. May half. Is this time you can reach out to them that they will be like, yes, this person is really good. He feels our pain. She feels our pain. She wears our shoes and she knows how it hurts and all that.
Not all school owners are like Julie Ojo, who has gone all out to provide succor to her employees during the period. The school environments are still quiet and people like her only visit to clean infrastructure. They hope things would get better soon and schools reopened. The teachers, especially those from private schools, tell me they are now doing menial jobs to keep soul and body together. They say they have missed their pupils and hope that things would change for the better sooner than later. Abiola Sholanke, TVC News, Lagos.
But that might not happen soon. I don't see students getting back soon. The reality on ground is that the last time we paid school fees was January. If you're parents, when they resumed this January, and the COVID started February, thereabouts, late February, March. So we're getting ready for another term. Ordinarily, if they had gone on holiday and come back, would have paid another school fees and everything. Now, what we're trying to say is that for the private schools, this school fees and everything is very tough. Yeah, there's no how,
because you must eat what you kill. They are not in position to eat what they kill now. Where would the money come from? It is from the services that you render, you get paid.
Not this internet.
So at this time, no, the parents are not even paying.
No, they can't substitute.
Some parents have been told to pay, though the services have been rendered, well, they are not they are reluctant to pay. So this is the thing, and it's really painful. We get to hear that government plans to maybe support the schools, but we cannot,
and we
cannot
verify.
That,
we don't know.
True.
I think we have to contact with the Minister of Education, anybody in the Education Ministry, get in contact with them to actually verify that if they're going to. Sam, your party shot on this quickly.
The truth we must admit is that the pandemic has hurt, every sector of our economy. But my concern is with what appears to be lack of cohesion within the education ministry. That's where my problem lies. It was very shocking, to hear about reopening of schools, and days after the substantive minister, of education woke up and said something different.
Sam, that's the story for another day. I think, Wale Adeoye, we are just looking at the plight of these teachers and the economy. Is Wale there? All right, Wale is no longer with us. Babajide, we just pray that things get better.
Yes, and, that's our prayer.
These teachers,
I want these children to get back to school. You even spend much more money. They want to browse, they want to do, it's costing you money. More money.
They eat more food at their home.
They don't sleep early. 2 a.m. they are still playing games on their phones. You spend more money on data when they are at home.
I want to thank you, Wale Adeoye. Thank you for getting across with us, and Sam Ibimiri, thank you for also being there for us today. And Bikio, thank you for always being there. And that's our package today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch Journalist Hangouts on our platform, show it on the screen. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Uzubaku. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.